In today's video, we're going to be reacting to the story of Tayson. This video is made by Ace, who makes some amazing Fortnite documentaries. I will leave a link to this video in the description below, and let's get into the video.
A matter of moments, and yes,
Tayson!
It is Mongrel, Tayson, and Mitro.
Let me, right here.
Oh, nice. I know nothing about Tayson. I know he's cracked there, and a 5 times FNCS. That's literally it. Oh, kills Vino.
Tayson. Not much is known about him except for the fact that he is one of the greatest Fortnite players of all time. He has 5 FNCS wins under his belt on EU, and he is one of the only players to earn over $1 million online. This is the story of Tayson. Tayson started his competitive journey very early on, placing on one of the first events you can make money in, which would be the Duo World Cup warm-up. And just a week later, the official qualifiers started, but unfortunately, he didn't do super well, with his best placement being a top 100 in the 10th week of duos. However, in total, Tayson earned $2,325 from just the qualifiers. So with the beginning of his career off to an amazing start, the first ever FNCS was announced in Season X. And it was arguably one of the most competitive metas we've ever had.
Yeah, watch your side. Yeah. Getting mech! The mech's tarping in! He's tarping it in!
Okay, yeah, not really, but going into the qualifiers and the cash cups going on, he would frequently place, but wasn't able to make the grand finals. Going into Chapter 2, he hoped things would be different, and with the new game mode now being squads, they definitely were. After not having the best performance in last FNCS, this time he would make the heats, where if he placed top 6, he would earn his spot in his first grand finals ever. But unfortunately, they would just miss out, placing 7th.
That's not bad.
Forwarding into Season 2, he would have his best season by far. The Duo FNCS was announced along with the Solo Invitationals right after, and Tayson would grind harder than ever. He would play every possible scrim he could, whether that was solos or duos, in order to gain as much experience as possible, and it would work out well for him. He would team up with Janice for FNCS with a decent performance in the qualifiers, got a spot into the heats, and they would dominate. He would win his heat by over 30 points, winning 3 out of the 6 games. And after impressing everybody, he was qualified to his first grand finals. However, he would not do too well, placing 33rd. But he didn't have too long to think about how he played, because the invitationals were right around the corner. He would continue to grind, playing as much as he possibly could to prepare. In week 2, he would place 5th overall, which meant that he made another grand finals. And with a very simple and methodic playstyle, relying on consistency instead of pop-off games, he would finish 5th place, making his first large amount of money from a tournament, which would be a light 50 grand. So with very good placements in solos, he was happy to hear that next FNCS would be solos. Going into Season 3, Tayson did not stop the grind. He wanted it more than anyone else. And after making heats, he would dominate once again, winning his heat. So now it was time to see if he could pop off once again.
Nice. That's crazy. That's crazy though. That's good. It's like not that crazy as long as he's getting kills. And he's getting kills. That's insane. He's killing it.
After dominating the finals, he would win, making himself 80 grand. Going into Season 4, the FNCS game mode would change once again to trios. With an impressive performance in solos, everybody wanted to trio with Tayson. And at the end, he would end up getting picked up by Mongrel and Mitro to create one of the most interesting trios we have ever seen.
Oh, they were like trolling, or Mongrel was trolling them.
1 minute later.
Tayson's just trying to do a little solo IGL at this point though. Or Tayson, we're not hearing many comms from the little IGL dude.
I don't know what's going on. What are you guys doing, man?
What are you doing? I need some comms though.
Even though Tayson wasn't happy with all the trolling they did, they still did very well. With a 7th, 3rd, and 11th in the qualifiers, they would make it to the heats where they would finish top 4, making his 3rd grands in a row. And it's important to mention that during this season, they were trying to alpha up the most overpowered POI the game has ever seen, which would be Stark Industries. In this POI, they would leave with the best guns, mats, rotation, and have a really good spot for zones on the map. And with the fighting power of Mongrel and Mitro, this was the perfect season for them to go crazy.
Use a big. Just wait.
That's wild.
Impulse. Let's
Nice. Mistake please. Nice.
Get the mats. Dead, one dead.
I just got ice.
After an insane performance on day 1 of finals, they would pull ahead of the other teams by a lot. So going into day 2, they were hoping to keep up the momentum. However, things didn't really go their way. After showing how broken Stark is unconned, they would end up being contested by multiple teams for the rest of day 2. They were able to win the first game on the day, but they wouldn't make a single endgame after that. It was coming down to the wire, and they just needed to hope that the second place team, which was Janice, Andalex, and Xsweez, didn't have an insane performance in the last game. And lucky for them, the trio would only place 14th in the final game, which meant Tayson was officially the first and only player to win back-to-back FNCSs in EU.
Dude.
Now, even though that trio just won FNCS, Tayson felt like he could do better, and he would start trying out with different teammates, and eventually he would choose iDrop and Mr. Savage. Going into Season 5's FNCS, they didn't have the best performances in Cash Cups, but they would still claw to the heats once again and end up winning it. So, going into Grands, Tayson was trying to become the first person to win 3 FNCSs in a row, but they wouldn't end up doing the best, placing 8th overall. Tayson, not being happy with his placement, would find a new trio again for Season 6. And this time he would play with duo FNCS winner Nate and 4ZR. And right out the gate, they would show how good they were, winning the first 2 events they ever played together. And for the 900th time, they would end up making heats and winning it. As expected, going into the finals, they were one of the favorites to win. Just like Tayson in solos, they would play super consistent in finals, but only managed to get a 3rd place this time. Which is really good, but we're talking about Tayson here. Not winning a Grands is the same as coming in last for him. Lucky for him though, the solo FNCS All-Stars was coming up, so he didn't have to worry about finding a new teammate. To qualify for this event, they would take the top 90 best players from Season 5 and 6 FNCS to go straight to the Grand Finals. And since he placed 3rd and 8th, he was easily qualified. And I've talked before how Tayson is a huge grinder, especially in solos back in Season 3. Well, going into this event, he would practice harder than anyone else. Since this event was close to the beginning of Season 7, everybody was scrambling to find out the best way to succeed in the new meta. And in order to do this, he would team up with Coach Destiny Jesus and other pros like Razon and Vino, so they could all learn off of each other in order to do the best that they possibly could. So after preparing for weeks, going into the finals, it was time to see if Tayson was still one of the best solo players in the world.
Nice. Being a solo player is not easy.
The 2 names you have to be focusing on right now. Tayson is literally in a world of hurt, but at the same time finds 2. That could be the difference. It'll have to be Vino going for the win right now in order to catch up. He's going for Erkin as well. If he gets 3, that could be it. He's moving forward, forcing the placement. Tayson on all walls, but he sees everything through. Finds it. A big match.
Dominating.
Takes them all.
With the final 1v1 to determine the winner, Tayson was able to come out on top and earn himself 150 grand.
That's crazy.
Proving he's still one of the best players in the world. Coming off of that win, Season 7's FNCS was still trios, so he had to find one. He would eventually play with Razon and Vino, and with a 2nd place in the Week 3 qualifiers, they skipped the heats going straight into Grands. But this time, they didn't have the performance he wanted. They would end up placing 5th, which once again was a bad performance in the eyes of Tayson. And heading into Season 8, they would make the decision to drop Vino and pick up Chapix. But after making Grands, they would have his worst placement in years, getting 16th. So after another bad tournament, Tayson had to make a decision quickly. The FNCS Grand Royale was coming up, and it had one of the biggest prize pools we've seen since the World Cup. Tayson would decide to continue playing with Chapix and replace Razon with FNCS winner Hen, who was arguably the best fighter at the time. So with this Goliath of a team ready, it was time to see what they could do.
Let's go! You guys are so good! Do this, we got me! Rush! 200!
Crack.
Let's go! Baby! Nice! On me! Dead! Basket! On me! Right here! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
After an insanely close game, they came out on top, adding another 200k to his earnings. But now, after becoming the solo and trios FNCS winners multiple times, we were headed into Chapter 3. where the game mode is now duos, so it was time to see if he could do it again.
Ooh.
The first season in the new chapter, Tayson would play with Thomas HD,
Thomas.
another incredible fighter. After an interesting start to the FNCS qualifiers, they made it to the heats where unsurprisingly they would place second, qualifying themselves into the finals. But this time they would place third, just barely missing out on second by 1 point. Going into season 2, Tayson decided to stick with Thomas. But that's when they got into a little beef. In the solo cash cups, they both decided that they were going to land where they went in duos, which meant if they both qualified, they would contest each other, and well, neither of them wanted to leave. So they would end up getting so upset at each other that they decided to split up.
Dang.
And after all the drama, Tayson would end up reuniting with Jcabs to run it back. And in the first week of FNCS quals, they would get second, guaranteeing themselves into the grand finals.
Nice.
Again, as one of the favorites to win, they gave it their best shot, but their common consistent playstyle was no match for Vino and Aqua's aggressive height dominant playstyle. But getting second place is good, and going into season 3, they would make a big change. For the last 2 seasons, they were landing at Rave Cave. This time they decided to change their drops to a mid-map split. They ended up making grands, but would be contested, which resulted in a 23rd place finish. But going into season 4, the FNCS Invitationals was coming up, and Tayson, being Tayson, was invited to play. So now everybody was waiting to see if the 4 times FNCS winner could do it in person on LAN. And well, they would end up being contested again by Aqua and Raison and Malabuka and Mustache. Definitely not the teams you want to fight off spawn every game. And because of this, they would finish 32nd. Now heading into chapter 4, he would switch up the duo again. During the trio events that were held in the prior chapter, Tayson would always play with Malabuka and Mustache. And going into the new season, they both split up as a duo, so Tayson and Mustache teamed up, and they would end up dominating. Going into the grands this season, they already had multiple top 3s in the cash cups, but after day 1 of finals, they found themselves in 7th place, 120 points away from 1st place. And if they wanted to win, they needed to play better than they have ever done before.
Oh snap. You got the walking music. Tayson, come on. Ooh, that would have been crazy. You saw the vision. Oh my god, look at all the builds.
After dominating the competition on the second day, they were in 1st place heading into the last game, and there was only one team right on their trail with the potential to beat them. And that would be their old teammates Malabuka and Thomas HD. They would make it to endgame, but then Mustache and Thomas HD died. So now it was Malabuka versus Tayson, both as solos, and whoever outlived the other would win FNCS.
Oh my god.
No match now! Tayson needs
That's
this
scary.
elimination
I think
to
I've
stay
seen
in the
this.
game! And he finds it on the Marius! The GOAT continues his reign, staying in front of the competition, ignores everything because he prefers position, he prefers to live, and he can land the shot, but once again, finds himself on a low point, 48 HP. Malabuka is absolutely stress-free in his position, but has to hammer all the way out. Tayson on the backside of his own, no match left. Tayson hung high to try Malabuka on his last match.
Tayson literally just has to... Oh, it's over.
It's done!
It's over. It doesn't matter.
Tayson stays alive when it shouldn't be possible.
By just 1 point,
gosh,
Tayson and
dude.
Mustache overtook them, winning his first duo FNCS, making him a 5 times FNCS winner. And with that event, he would cross the line of having over $1 million earned online. And with this win, they ended up qualifying themselves to the Global Championships LAN at the end of this year. Going into season 2, they would obviously stick together as a duo, and again were one of the favorites to win. They made grands where they would have another amazing performance, but they would only get a top 2 finish, right behind Vino and Queasy, who won 6 out of the 12 games, so it was pretty impossible to beat them. And going into season 3 FNCS now, they are still one of the favorite teams to win. Throughout Tayson's career, he has shown that hard work and dedication will pay off, and he has left a legacy behind on this game, being one of the best players to ever do it. If you enjoyed this video, use my code ACE in the item shop, leave a like, subscribe, and I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your days. Peace out.
Thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and if there's a video you want to see, let me know down in the comments below. Peace.